going into turn one. This is a second opportunity now for Alex Lowes, and he's not going to let this one slip. They're side by side into turn one. At the end of the pit straight, though, it's Razgatlioglu, who is a demon on the brakes and still holds firm in P2.
I'll tell you what, it's not easy for Alex Lowes in there. You got Chaz Davies behind you, possibly the best breaker in WorldSBK. Toprak's not bad on the front end either, so to try and make these moves is tough. He's going to try it into 5.
Turn 4 then for Alex Lowes, ducking through on Razgatlioglu, who immediately responds, and that's what Toprak had to do, was immediately get back in front of Alex Lowes, because it is the number 22 Kawasaki that is the faster of the two at this stage of the race. He might not have been able to get the job done into 2 of the heavier braking points, but Lowes is clearly the faster man. He's got to shake off Davies. He's got to attack on the final 3 laps.
Yeah, this is really impressive from Lowes, considering what happened in the middle of the race whenever he was all the way down into the 1:52s at one stage. Looked like it was going to be difficult for him to collect it, get himself back into the fight, but once Toprak came past, he latched onto the back of him, and now he's given himself a chance to try and make some moves. This is where he came close last time around.
This must be attempt number 4 from Alex Lowes, and still Toprak manages to hold on the brakes, just about getting through and across the front of him. Toprak has not ridden the optimum line though there. Lowes is able to sweep through. He's significantly faster. Where can Alex Lowes strike? It's not going to be down the hill. Davies, while these two are dicing it out over second position, is closing in to Lowes for third. We've got Yamaha, Kawasaki, Ducati, evenly matched machines for race pace here in Aragon, the opening race of the season. Lowes tried a lap ago on Toprak, couldn't get it done into the final 2 left-handers. He's even closer this time around. Lowes dives through on the inside. Toprak switches to the inside. Lowes has to lift it up ever so slightly, and Toprak responds. These two are dicing for position. They've swapped and changed on a few occasions already. At the start of lap 17, Toprak tries to switch to the inside down the straight to defend against Alex Lowes, but Lowes will not be fended off, and finally Alex Lowes makes his move stick. Toprak may well try to respond into the 4th turn. He knows that if Lowes is given clear air, he may well escape away. The 22 Kawasaki is looking good enough at this stage of the race. Toprak is seen off by Alex Lowes and may also now have to defend from Chaz Davies. And I tell you what, Scott Redding and Alvaro Bautista both gaining behind. These are going to be 2 final laps to remember.
Yeah, the last few laps, Redding's been able to pull in 3-4 tenths of a second a lap. He's edging himself closer to Chaz Davies. If they battle with one another, the Ducati and the Honda are going to be right there.
Alex Lowes then, as they come through once again, down the hill, right and then left. And it looks as though Scott Redding is really on a charge. As you said, the riders ahead of him running in the 52s, Redding still in the 51s, gaining 2 tenths of a second in that last sector alone. And Scott Redding is now right on the tail of Chaz Davies for 4th position. We've got a 4-rider fight for 2nd place. Just over a lap to go. Lowes, Razgatlioglu, Davies looking vulnerable. We saw these 2 Ducatis swapping earlier on, with Davies at that stage of the race the faster of the 2, but it's Redding who's got the pace in the closing stages, and this is where his decision on tyres starts to pay dividends for him, and we've got that meet in the middle situation. Lowes in 2nd, Razgatlioglu in 3rd, Davies under pressure from Redding, 2 evenly matched machines, but it's Redding who will have the slipstream and probably the better run coming onto the back straight as well. Davies holds on the brakes. Can he defend the inside line coming off the final turn? No, he can't. Davies has generally preferred the wider sweep, should give him some momentum into turn 1, but Scott Redding is through for 4th position. Rea, Lowes, Razgatlioglu, Redding and Davies, your order going into the final lap here in Motorland Aragon.
You have to wait 7 months for racing to come back. It's been a good race so far, still a lap to go. See if Toprak's able to get somewhere close enough to try and attack onto Alex Lowes. See if Chaz Davies can try and answer back on Scott Redding.
And Tom Sykes has come through on Alvaro Bautista. Bautista's hit problems. Bautista has hit problems. He was running well up in 6th position, fighting with Tom Sykes and trying to close down the riders up ahead of him, and it looks as though Alvaro Bautista has crashed in the 1st sector, possibly at turn 2. Razgatlioglu was always going to try and make a move on Lowes. He just dives through the first time he's close enough. Lowes immediately responds. Brilliant racing between the green Kawasaki of Alex Lowes and the blue Pata Yamaha of Razgatlioglu, and Toprak on the 54 is back into P2. Where can Lowes answer back?
Well, for Lowes, he's going to have to try it on the run into the wall, but he hasn't been close enough to use that break point to be able to be aggressive against Toprak. This is where he's had a run a few times on Toprak able to run around the outside though.
Oh, and he's done it again, Razgatlioglu. Lowe's, I think, had moved across the path of Toprak, but Toprak still came around the outside with a screech of brake dust, and it's Razgatlioglu and Lowe's holding one another up that are now presenting a golden opportunity to Scott Redding as we head towards the final sector. Lowe's building himself up. He's on the tail of Toprak. There's less than a bike length between them. I don't think Redding is quite close enough to stake a claim for a podium position. Lowe's certainly is close enough to challenge Razgatlioglu. He's going to go to the outside of him. Two left-handers still to go. Razgatlioglu aggressively across the front of Alex Lowe's, who's going to have to try and run it into the line. Up front, it's Jonathan Rea heading towards a century. Jonathan Rea takes his 100th victory in WorldSBK, and Alex Lowe's is through on Toprak Razgatlioglu in the run down to the line. A brilliant first race of the 2021 season.